All right, YouTube, what is up? Today's September 13th, and we have a new release of the Polaris 4-seat Turbo S. Everybody's been waiting for this bad boy. I'm pretty excited about it. There's a couple new things. It's really cool. I know all you guys have been trying to make an excuse to buy a new family razor, and now it is here. So right around 30,000 bucks. I think that's what we all expected. It's about 2,500 bucks more than, well, about 3 grand more than the Rzr 2-seat Turbo S. I'm really excited about it. I made a list of things we could talk about and just kind of go over some of the new stuff, some of the stuff we knew was coming, and just some of my thoughts. You know, I've had the pleasure to use Polaris's 2-seat Turbo S for the last like six months. I don't know, maybe, yeah, 6 months almost. I've put 1,300 miles on that machine. I've never blown a belt. I serviced it once, but it is literally not skipped a beat. It's been amazing. I got one random puncture on the tire, but it was like something stupid. I basically hit a nail in my parking lot, but those tires have been bulletproof. The machine, the steering, the 4-wheel drive, like, I don't got much bad to say about it. It's been a really, really, really good machine. I've gone out and I've driven it hard. So definitely feel like they really stepped up the quality on the Turbo S models for sure. So yeah, let's go over, obviously it's a Turbo S, it's got 4 seats. You've got your 4-point harnesses, which I love, that are all factory. You've got the same seats. I think they use different material and stitching on them. Let's see, same great visibility. You know, something I absolutely has been one of the main things I loved about the Rzr was the visibility. I loved my Can-Am too, but I legitimately did have problems seeing on like big ups and downs in the dunes in the Can-Am. So it's really cool. You know, I gotta say, it's really cool. The visibility out of the machine is just awesome. So, you know, while we're on that subject, the wheelbase. So wheelbase, you're 117-inch wheelbase. On the Can-Am, you're 135. So you're 18 inches shorter wheelbase on the Rzr. I think it kind of is the sweet spot, to be honest. I think it gets rid of the twitchiness of the 2-seat a little bit, but it's not as big as the Maverick 4-seat. It's only 7 inches longer than a XRS 2-seater. So I think it might be the best wheelbase. I've been thinking about building a race machine. I can't decide if I should do a 2 or 4-seater. Definitely tell me in the comments what you think. I've thought about doing a 4-seat. I'm not sure which brand or whatever to do, but I know, like in the Polaris's, you can do a fuel cell in the back seat, put your tools, spare tire, and kind of have everything in the 4-seater kind of right in the center, which is a pretty cool idea. But yeah, this thing, great visibility. I think the wheelbase is just going to absolutely kill it in the whoops. This 4-seat has, while we're comparing, 16 inches of ground clearance compared to the Maverick that has 14. So on the XRS 4-seater. It's a little bit, I love the Maverick, but it does feel a little big sometimes. You have really good comfort in the back seat of the Maverick, but it is, man, that thing is a limo. So I think you can have a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more agility in the Polaris chassis, and it does have, you know, it does come stock with 32-inch tires. You've got 16 inches of ground clearance, 72-inch track now, which, dude, the 72-inch machines, man, they are so fun to just haul ass. You guys have seen my videos. I love to just rip, and I just feel so good in the 72-inch machine just flying. It's just a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll get some time in this 4-seater. That'd be awesome. But let's take a look at my list. So yeah, 32-inch tires from the factory. I think it's awesome. These ITP tires are great. I got no complaints with them. I mean, you can change them if you want, but no punctures. You know, big thing for me, I love the bighorns, but the way I drive and where I drive, they do not last in the desert. I end up getting punctures. So this is the first factory tire that I felt like I did not have to replace. I mean, I've beat my ITP 32s, so really great on that. I love the lighting on the Polaris. So I've said it before, but they really do look like a beast. They've done a good job with their marketing, but badass lights, front and rear, just looks really cool. So I just thought it was cool. We already talked about the visibility, the agility. You know, even though this is a 4-seater, with their new diff, they have improved steering, and the way they designed it around the 32. This 4-seater is going to drive like aggressive, and I think it's going to have great turn in. It's going to be badass. So that's something that I've really grown to love on my Polaris. Is it's so nimble. It brings me to the next thing, the steering wheel. I love the Sparco steering wheel. You know, the seats, I don't love their seats. I think they're okay. You know, to be honest, it hasn't been that bad. You can buy a different seat, but man, the things that you sit in, the things that you touch, it's important that those are good. And I love the new steering wheel. It just has great feel. It's the right size. It's cool that it's a Sparco. So the steering wheel to the steering, to the new ergonomics of the cabin, it feels great. It's easy in and easy out. Yeah, I love the visibility, and their updated cockpit is awesome. So let's see. Beefed up and tough, I put. So everything, this weighs 250 pounds more than a regular XP Turbo. So, you know, typically in a car, I'm not happy that it weighs more, but in this, what that tells me is they have put much higher quality, heavier duty parts on this 4-seat machine. You know, from all your arms, all the suspension, all the mounting points, the beefed up cage, everything is tougher. So 250 pounds of making it a better quality. I think that's a good thing. Full doors. So some of the new things on the 4-seater, I think enough people complained about not having full doors on a $30,000 machine that they decided to throw in these full doors, which is great. Every machine should come with full doors. Let's just make that a rule. I said it on my last video, but full doors, it should be standard. So that's cool they came with full doors. Why we're on that subject. So one thing they did change over the 2-seaters, they have this really cool curved high clearance radius rod. It is bad A looking. I don't know if you guys can get a good look at it, but pretty sweet. Looks like a really strong piece. I don't know if this is just the graphics, but these boots in the graphic look different than the 2-seater, so I don't know if they've changed anything with the axle. But one cool thing about the 2-seater coming out first is that all the little problems they can probably fix on the 4-seater. So they've had a few warranty things probably come in over the last 6 months, and they said, okay, we need to fix this, and that. And so I'll bet you the 4-seater is it's dialed. So really cool, really like that curved arm piece. That is a beautiful piece. It looks great clearance, and it looks nice and heavy duty. And these were definitely a weak spot on a regular Rzr, these radius rods. So really cool to see them improve that. Let's see. So yeah, a new roll cage, more aggressive, and then you have your full aluminum roof. I love it. I think the Can-Am, their cage looks a little cooler, but you got to remember, you know, the ergonomics. There's functionality behind the design of the Polaris cage, and it just has such great visibility, and I think it looks pretty cool too. Let's see, ride command. I love the ride command. I went out, I don't know if you guys saw my Class 1 race video. If you didn't, check it out. It's like 2 or 3 videos back. It was so fun. But I went back out the next weekend, and I went and hit the race course with the Turbo S, and I just GPSed it all. And it was awesome. The ride command was awesome. I had my buddies sign into the app. I knew where they were. You know, so that way they can hang back and not be sucking dust the whole day, right? But we know where each other are. So it was really cool. I really like the technology, front and rear cams, you know, all your gauge stuff. It's really cool. So ride command, is it like a must? Maybe not, but is it cool? Yeah, it's really cool. The technology in the Rzr is awesome. Let's see. Okay, so with the Turbo S, just like the 2-seat, you have stronger arms, stronger trailing arms. You have the dynamic suspension, which is freaking unreal. We'll get into that here in a second. You've got all your beefed up A-arms, you know, the more aggressive front end, 72 inches. So everything, all the suspension components are completely different from a regular XP, and they're just, dude, they've been awesome. They've been really, really good. The dynamic suspension, maybe I'll save that for the last. We talked a little bit about the engine. So the engine calibration, even though this is like their older motor, I do feel like the motor has been awesome. It's so snappy. I don't know what they did to the calibration, but I love the way it sounds. And as much when they released the two-seater, I was a little disappointed that there wasn't a new motor with it. But I can honestly say after riding the two-seater for the last 6 months, that motor rips. I mean, it just rips. And they have the clutching tuned in really well, and the calibration on the tune for the motor. I got no complaints. I really do. I have no complaints. And dude, no blown belts. And I have not been easy on this machine, and it is ripping. So no blown belts, 1,300 miles. Clutching and engine stuff, I bet on the four-seater are going to be just dialed. Yeah, so this car, crazy. This car is smaller than the Can-Am by 18 inches, and it's actually 100 pounds heavier. And like I said, typically something that was heavier, I would look at it as a downer, but in this, I know the old Rzr was much lighter. It's all just been to strengthen up the chassis, so I think it's pretty rad. So it's 100 pounds heavier than a Can-Am four-seater. Ground clearance is a big deal. You know, you're going on the regular four-seater Can-Am, you're 14 inches. On this, you got stock 32s with 16 inches of ground clearance, which that's a big deal. That's a big deal. You know, with these dynamic shocks and having all, you know, all the wheel travel and having good ground clearance, and not as much center scraping in a Turbo S because it's not so long. It's 117 inches. Let's see, what did I miss? I mean, that's pretty much it. I think they were able to fix, you know, the Turbo S two-seater brakes were amazing. It's cool they did the full doors. It's cool that they've got 4-point harnesses on all 4 seats. The suspension, so let's just go with the suspension. A Rzr is not perfect. There's things I loved about my Can-Am, and you know, little things on Rzrs that are still annoying, but what I decided, I thought about it a lot today, and even though it's not perfect, I can live with the little things that are annoying on a Rzr to have that dynamic suspension. It is like that good. I'll forgive rattly doors and crappy seats to have dynamic suspension. The four-wheel drive system, the steering, the tire and wheel package, and the dynamic suspension, dude, it is just killer. It is so cool to have the adjustability and to have the software that's adjusting for you. You have to learn how to kind of drive it over again, but I love it. And it's just, it's got to be the best machine out right now. This has got to be the best machine out right now. And you know, the Can-Am is right there, but I just, the Rzr put the smile on my face the last 6 months. I did sell the Can-Am, which I absolutely loved, but I think this has got to be, you know, at least for a short amount of time until somebody else comes to something else. But it's a good package, and I bet you the four-seater will be dialed. They had a little bit of time to kind of refine it, but I'm pretty stoked on it. I'm sure there's going to be a line out the door for these machines, and you know, Polaris did a good job. They did a good job. I talked to the engineer that helped make this machine out in Las Vegas, and I felt like he really cared about putting out a good product. They took their time. You know, they got their butts kicked in 16 and 17, and I think, you know, Polaris is back. They're going to be duking it out with Can-Am. I wish some of the other manufacturers would catch up, but I don't know. Textron, let's do this. Honda, Kawasaki, everybody keeps saying they're going to bring out something. Let's do it. Bring it out. Bring it out. Like, get up here, but don't bring out something with 100 horsepower. Bring out something legit that's going to compete. Yeah, that's it, guys. Tell me what you think. Tell me in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.